depending on the other applications and how many points they receive, you may or may not be in the fundable range. But more to your question, I think what should happen is maybe an analysis of what you could bond for on, say, the open market, or how you would normally achieve funding, versus what you might get for a funding package from them at this 2.5 or 2.75%, because that's really what you're going to save, is that incremental amount. I mean, you're not talking grant dollars at this point. That's really where what's going to help you make your decision whether or not you should move forward, because if it really doesn't mean a heck of a lot to you, or if it's not tempting, then you shouldn't move forward with it. That being said, there's still that other part about if there's stimulus dollars that become available through other states that can't fully utilize them, or for some reason there's a second package, which there hasn't really been any talks of, but the people that have moved forward with their projects will be the ones that are considered first. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened this year. There were some, obviously this is a yearly funding application, and those that were on the list and moving forward, they just slid the stimulus dollars right to those projects. And so that's just something kind of to keep in the back of your mind as something maybe that puts you over the tipping point once you realize what your savings could be. So that's what I'd suggest, is maybe looking at what you'd save between what you'd bond for versus what they're potentially would be offering to you.
Okay. So do we assign staff to do any of this kind of stuff, or at this point are we just sitting here and letting another year slip away? I guess that's my question to the rest of the council.
Mr. Murphy, is there somebody that does keep track of this? I mean, just grants in general, but, or is it specific to department?
It's specific to department. Each department typically has an idea of what grants are available to them. No, we don't have a specific staff person that we have monitoring grants.
Just clarification, council. If you look at this is funding that's available, but we're not ready. We weren't ready to move forward on any of this yet.
Right.
We have it in our capital improvement plan, but it's scheduled out as a need there. It just Joe's firm put in all the proper paperwork to see if we qualified for it. I would say I'd be more leaning to, if we're in need of it in the next year or two, which currently we're not, then we should really look into, if we moved it up on the capital improvement plan, then we can really kind of look at this. But it's not something that we have on our radar all the time, but this funding is available. I think it's probably prudent to look at the cost difference, stepping that funding up, advancing the reverse osmosis, maybe a well now versus waiting the 4 or 5 years we had it out. I guess that's where I would look at it.
Well, that's my thinking too. I mean, you can always just drill a hole and cap it if you had the money. That's like you said, from the, you wouldn't have to actually put it online.
You have to go to reverse osmosis when we drill our next well.
Well, that's what I mean.
You can't just leave it lay. It's either got to go or not.
True enough. So we always needed a backup is what I always worried about. We don't have you call it different well, would give us a different source backup. Right now we don't have that.
Maybe it's something we can put towards a workshop.
Okay.
Throw some numbers around.
Is that it for you, Mr. Lang? Mm-hmm. Anybody else for
Yes,
Mr.
is there an update on the last paragraph about the construction companies?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'll take that question. It's my understanding that Mr. Duncan and Peter Michael, an attorney from our firm, did attend a mediation for this. The update is that nothing has changed since the mediation. There was no settlement reached at the mediation. The parties were encouraged by the mediator after the fact through some email correspondence to continue to talk, but our office has not heard any other offers or any other update on that. So as far as the city's position is right now, we are just in a wait and see to see if any lawsuit is filed or another settlement offer is passed around. Right now there is nothing pending that specifically involves the city at this point.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, if there are no more questions, we'll move on to City Administrator, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. I do have just one item to add. My wife did remind me of a summer vacation that I did promise her, so that I forgot about. So I will be gone Thursday of this week through Wednesday of next week. I will be available by cell phone.